Good morning, everyone, and it's a pleasure for me to join you today from France. This is a historic moment for impact investment. All of the efforts that you've been making in Bangladesh since I met Farhad at my home in 2016 in London, and the efforts that the GSG has been making since then have led us to a historic point. When Bangladesh became a member of the GSG, it was the 19th country. Today we're at 35 with 15 task forces in another 15 countries on their way to becoming part of our organization. And your progress in Bangladesh has been very impressive. You have managed to bring together government, and we're very grateful to the Prime Minister for all her support since 2017, business, the social sector, organizations in the worlds of finance and related areas to create real momentum in Bangladesh and to play a leadership role in South Asia. For many years, impact has been a peripheral subject, both within the world of business and within the world of government. But things are changing now across the world. And we're finding that there's hardly a company whose boardroom is not talking about impact and impact measurement today. And we're finding government and official bodies in the form of the SEC for the United States, which regulates all financial activity there, in the form of the EU Commission, which is pushing the impact agenda in Europe, and in the form of the organization responsible for accounting outside of the United States across the whole world. We're finding everywhere an emphasis now on bringing transparency to the impact that companies create. And we're beginning to see the tools we invented, like the social impact bond, which we invented in 2010, begin to get much greater traction in the financial markets than we could have expected in this time frame. Last year, $1 trillion was raised across the world in sustainability impact bonds and loans, where the rate of interest of the borrower falls if certain environmental or social objectives are achieved. And bringing pay for success into the main lending markets is a fantastic step forward for our movement. Because every company today has the option to embrace impact or to try to avoid it. And we see the thoughtful leaders embracing it, going beyond the short-term considerations of performance to say if we want to have a thriving company, then we need to look beyond this year to the decade ahead. And the decade ahead sees changes in consumer values, which lead to consumers adopting the products of companies that do good, talent joining these companies, and investors flocking to these companies. So we are in the process of changing now the drivers of our whole economies across the world. changing them from profit alone to profit and measurable impact. Now, I was personally very proud that on Impact, the guide to the Impact Revolution, which was launched in India at our summit in 2017, was first translated into a foreign language when it was translated into Bangla. That makes me feel that our ideas are spreading in Bangladesh because of the leadership that all of you are showing. And the work that you've been doing with UNESCO, with the British Council and the Embassy of Switzerland to publish policy landscape analysis of impact investment in Bangladesh is a major milestone for our movement as well as for your country. This is the first time that we have looked in detail at the impact investment ecosystem in Bangladesh and identified the existing tracks and challenges, opportunities, and threats to support our movement as part of the global effort. An excellent beginning with strong recommendations for a national strategy and action plan, which now has to be our major objective. I believe that every country will soon be following your lead in pushing for such a plan, because negative impacts through the perpetuation of poverty, differences in remuneration, lack of action on social issues that plague our countries, lack of education, which inhibits social mobility, homelessness, which is characteristic of so many countries, both in the emerging and in the developed world. Issues around health. All of these issues require money from government that government just doesn't have in its coffers. And so our approach of bringing the private capital markets to achieve the priorities that government sets in the social and environmental area has become a necessity now. So we share your enthusiasm for pushing at government level and bringing change top down, while also pushing bottom up to create initiatives on the ground that improve our lives and our planet. So I leave you with my best wishes for your continued success. I look forward to continuing to support your efforts and to visiting you in person before too long. Thank you and goodbye.